Welcome once again to my channel. So in this video we're going to look at biology paper 2. So if you are new to this channel, subscribe and share to your friends if you find this video to be useful. Specifically paper 2. So let's start with the first question. It is saying figure 1 shows the human digestive system. So we have a lot of parts here. So now let's see the questions. So Roman numeral number 1 is saying using the appropriate label on figure 1 where each of the following is produced. So we have an amylase with A. So where is amylase produced? So amylase is produced in the mouth, specifically here, okay, by the salivary gland. So that is when our amylase is produced. So we are supposed to label it with A, then we are done. Then hydrochloric acid with B. So hydrochloric acid is produced by the walls of the stomach. So we can say the walls of the stomach. So we can say B on that one. And so in terms of the functions, if you want to know the function, amylase break down carbohydrates. Then when it comes to hydrochloric acid, so let's say for example you eat food and then in bacteria. So you're going to find that the work of hydrochloric acid is to kill those bacteria, okay, or germs. Then when it comes to lipase, so lipase is produced by pancreas. It is also secreted by the stomach as well as the small intestine. So we have used the pancreas to label lipase. So let me just use the small intestine to label the protease. So we can say D. But it is produced by main organs like the stomach, the pancreas, as well as the small intestines. So I think we are done for Roman numeral number 2. Then Roman numeral number 3 is saying state the nutrient on which protease enzyme act and name the products that are formed. So in terms of the nutrients, it acts on proteins. Then in terms of the products, they are amino acids. Okay, so the amino acids are the products. Then from there now we are done for question 1. Let's see the next question. So the next question is coming from urinary system, and it is saying figure 1 shows the urinary system and its blood supply. So we have the aorta, this one specifically the abdominal aorta, and this one here it is an inferior vena cava. Then we have this part which is labeled as X. So this one is called, since this one is left, okay, so this one is left kidney and this one is the right kidney. So meaning to say that this one is the vein and this is an artery. So this part here, it is called the right renal vein. Okay, that is part labeled X. Then from there now we also have these parts, these ones. So we have the right and the left. So this is the left and this is the right, and these they are called the ureters. So we can say ureters since they are 2. And this part here is called the bladder, or urinary bladder to be specific. Urinary bladder, and these they are called kidney. So we have the left kidney and the right kidney. Okay, so now one thing that need to understand here is that urine is not formed in the kidney. Urine is formed, let me say urea is not formed in the kidney. Urea is formed in the liver. But what is formed in the kidney is urine. Okay, so function of the bladder is the storage of urine. Then we have part labeled Y. So part labeled Y is called the urethra. That is the urethra. So now, the first question, Roman numeral number 1, question A. Identify the structures labeled X and Y. So for X, I have said that that is the right renal vein. But if you want, you can just say the renal vein at your level. But to be specific, it is the right renal vein. Then part labeled Y, it is the urethra. Then Roman numeral number 2, it is saying a function of the kidney is to remove urea from the blood. State 1, other function of the kidney. So the kidney has a lot of functions. So it secretes hormones. So we can say secretion of hormones. Now, what hormones? Secretion of hormones. So to be specific, the kidney secretes what we call erythropoietin. So this erythropoietin, let me put Y here. This erythropoietin, it is an important erythropoietin. It is an important hormone during the production of red blood cells. So apart from production of or secretion of this hormone here, which is erythropoietin, it also produces what we call the hormone called angiotensin. So angiotensin is also produced by the kidney. So during the process of angiotensin aldosterone system, this one is important. Then apart from secretion of hormone, which is erythropoietin and angiotensin, it is also important balancing of electrolytes. Okay, so balancing of water and electrolytes. It's a very, very important organ. So balance of water and electrolytes. So these are very, very important to know. So we can just choose one from these. So it has a lot of functions. Now question B is saying the liver forms urea by breaking down excess amino acids. Name 2 other substances which are broken down by the liver. So the liver is very, very important in that it breaks down all the red blood cells. So we can say break down or we can say aged red blood cells. So I can just say RBC, but in your exam don't say RBC, you can just say red blood cells in full. Red blood cells. So apart from break down aged red blood cells, it is also important in detoxification of poisons or alcohol. So we can say detoxification of alcohol. So it's a very, very important organ. Question C is saying the liver and kidneys are organs which help to maintain a constant internal environment. So whenever you hear the word constant internal environment, this word here, constant internal environment, think of a word homeostasis. Okay, so the question is saying which term describe this process. So this process is called the homeostasis. So now there are 2 words here. We have what we call hemostasis and homeostasis. These 2 are different. So in talk of homeostasis, it is the constant, the maintenance of the constant environment. Then when you talk of hemostasis, this process here involves the breakdown of the clot or blood clot. So this one involves breakdown of blood clot. When there is a clot or you have a wound, then there is a clot. This process occurs in that it is going to break down the clot, or we can say blood clot. So those are the differences. So when you write hemostasis, you mean the breakdown of blood clot. When you write homeostasis, you mean constant maintenance of the internal environment. So those are the things that need to be aware of. Wrong spellings. Then let's see this question. So this one is coming from circulatory system, and it is saying figure 1 shows a section through the heart. So we have part A, part B up to D. So before I answer the questions, let me just try to label these parts. So one thing that you need to understand is that this is the left side of the heart, and this is the right side of the heart. Okay, so the right side of the heart, it has these valves here that you can see. So these, they are called the tricuspid valve. So tricuspid valve. Okay, so the function of this tricuspid valve is to prevent the backflow of the blood from the right ventricle to the right atrium. So it's very, very important. So we also have other parts like this one here. So this one is called pulmonary semilunar valve. So it is very, very important to know these valves, because in this video I'm answering this question. Maybe in your exam they can ask you to identify these ones which I'm identifying here. So pulmonary semilunar valve. Semilunar valve. Then what about this one here? So this one is going to be called the aortic semilunar valve. Okay, so aortic, so this one has to be RTIC. So aortic semilunar valve. Then NR, then valve here. So these things you need to know them. Then apart from that one, we also have these valves here. So we have this one here and this one here. Collectively, they are called bicuspid valve. So tricuspid valve is found on the right side of the heart. Then bicuspid valve, or some they say they pronounce it as bicuspid valve, but it is bicuspid valve. So this bicuspid valve is found on the left side of the heart. It is also called the mitral valve. Okay, so these are the things that you need to know. Valves are very, very important to know. Then apart from that one, let's try to identify these parts here. So we have part C. So part C is called the left ventricle. The left ventricle. Okay, and then we have part B, which is called the left pulmonary vein. So let me use the different color here. So we have two branches here. We have this branch here that you can see here. We also have this branch here. Okay, so collectively at this point here, you're going to find that this one is going to be called as the pulmonary vein. Okay, now we have the left lung and the right lung. So this structure here, which is B, is going to the left lung, and this structure here going up, it is going to the right lung. So there's a difference here. So this one is going to be called as the left pulmonary vein. Okay, left pulmonary vein. You remember when it comes to the vein and the artery relating to the lungs, the veins, they carry oxygen, then the arteries, they carry deoxygenated blood when it comes to the lungs only. And also to the fetus, if you can remember very well. Okay, so meaning to say this one is going to be called as the right pulmonary vein. So we have identified these parts. Then this structure here that you can see here, this one here, so let me just shade it so that you appreciate. So we have this part here which I'm shading here. So this part is called the left atrium. So let me just write it here. So this one is called the left atrium. So the left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the right pulmonary vein and the left pulmonary vein from the lungs. That is one thing that you need to know. So here we have identified this one as the left ventricle, meaning to say that this one is going to be called as the right ventricle. So the right ventricle receives blood from the right atrium. So this is the right atrium. Then this part here, let me just shade it so that you see it. This one here, the one I'm shading here, this one is called the right atrium. So the right atrium, or the right side of the heart, carries deoxygenated blood and the left side of the heart carries oxygenated blood. So when it comes to now these branches here, of course, when we consider this part here, we're going to call it as the vena cava. Okay, now these branches, we have this branch here and also this branch here. So the top part here is called the superior vena cava. So let me just use the abbreviation. So when you say superior, meaning up. And then this part here is for the inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava. Inferior means down. So this one here drains blood from the lower limb. And then superior vena cava drains blood from the upper limb. Then this one here is called the pulmonary artery. So we have the left and the right. So we have the right, let me say the left here. So this one has to be left pulmonary artery. Then this one is going to be called as the right pulmonary artery. So even these, they go to the lungs. These are the ones that take deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So in terms of the flow of blood, let me just draw the direction in terms of the flow. So it is going to come like this, passing through that, which is the tricuspid valve, passing through the pulmonary semilunar valve, and it goes like this. So the other blood is going to go to the left, then the other one is going to go to the right. Then from there, from the lungs, it is going to come like this, going down, then it is going to go like this. Then the last part to mention, this one is called the aorta. Okay, so it's very, very important to know these parts. So the aorta now is the one which is going to distribute blood to all parts of the body. So now let's see the questions. So the first question is saying we need to name the parts labeled A and B. So according to this one, part labeled A is called tricuspid valve. Then part labeled B is called left pulmonary vein. Then Roman numeral number 2, shade the cavity of the ventricle which contain oxygenated blood. So the part which contain oxygenated blood in terms of the ventricle is this one here. So let me just shade it. So let me just use black. So it's this one here now, which I'm shading. This one is called the ventricle. So in terms of shading, I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm just showing you the part which is going to contain oxygenated blood. So that is what you need to know here. So I've shaded that part. Then the other one, this part here is going to contain deoxygenated blood. Then Roman numeral number 3 is saying suggest why the wall around chamber C is much thicker than that around chamber D. So from here we can observe to say that this side here, the left side of the heart, is muscular compared to the right side of the heart. This is because the left side of the heart pumps blood to all parts of the body at high pressure. So this is because it pumps blood at high pressure, because it pumps blood at high pressure. Apart from that one, to increase contractility. So the more the part is muscular, the more the contractility is. So to increase contractility, to increase contractility. So when I say contractility, I just mean in terms of contraction. Okay. Then as for question B, it is saying the coronary arteries or arteries supply blood to the heart muscle. Roman numeral number 1 suggests 2 activities of humans which might cause a clot in the coronary artery. So the clot can occur in the coronary artery when a person is eating a lot of food containing fats. So eating fatty foods. So eating fatty foods. This can contribute to clotting of coronary arteries. Apart from that one, smoking. So smoking, it is a bad activity in that it causes the clot in the coronary artery. Apart from this one, lack of exercise. So if you're lacking exercise, there's going to be build-up of fats to the heart. So that's the reason why they encourage people to do exercise, to burn out the fats which surrounds the heart. Apart from that one, high level of cholesterol. Okay, so high level of cholesterol. So this cholesterol, it can be bad or good. Okay, so this cholesterol can also cause heart attack when there's clotting in the coronary artery. So cholesterols. So it is very, very important to know. Apart from this one, there are also many alcohol consumption, all those. But you can just choose 2 from these. Then explain what might be the result of such a blockage. What is the result? So you're going to find that when there's a blockage, meaning that the heart is not receiving now oxygenated blood. Even though we know that the heart pumps blood to all parts of the body by supplying oxygenated blood, also itself needs oxygen for it to function well. So if there is clot or blockage of coronary arteries, meaning to say that the heart is not receiving oxygenated blood, as the result, there will be heart failure. Okay, there will be what? Heart failure. Apart from heart failure, you're going to find that there will be heart attack. Then apart from heart attack, you're going to find that in terms of the rhythm of the heart, the way the heart is going to conduct the rhythm is going to be different. So apart from that one, let's see the next questions. These ones, they are coming from respiration. So it is saying respiration occurs in all living organisms. So the first question is saying state the name of the product of anaerobic respiration in humans. So what you should underline in this question is anaerobic. So what is anaerobic? Anaerobic takes place in the absence of oxygen. So absence of oxygen. That is when our anaerobic respiration is going to occur. So if there is no oxygen, what is going to happen is that for the body to produce energy, lactic acid is going to be produced. So this usually happens, let's say for example, you are climbing You are climbing the stairs at a fast rate. When there is depletion of oxygen, you are going to find that you are going to feel pain in your joint, especially the knee joint. This is because there is production of lactic acid there. Okay, so lactic acid. That's the answer. Then for question B, Roman numeral number 1, table 6.1 shows the energy released during aerobic respiration. So in this question here, we are no longer now talking about anaerobic respiration, but we are talking about anaerobic respiration Then so we're talking about aerobic respiration as well as the anaerobic respiration of one molecule of glucose in humans. So like the way the respiration is, just know that the respiration is the process by which living organisms break down glucose to release energy. But there are 4 steps which are involved. The first one is glycolysis, followed by the linked reaction as well as TCA cycle, and the last one is electron transport chain for energy to be released. So we have types here. We have aerobic and anaerobic. Energy released per kilojoules. So we have 2872, also have 118. So now the question is saying calculate the difference in energy released between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So we have this one here, which is 2872. Then we are lessing 118 from that. Alright, so we are lessing that one from that. So this is what we have. So what are we going to have? We are going to have 4 here, we are going to have 5, we are going to have 7, we are going to have 2. So what are we going to remain with? We are going to remain with 2750 for energy released. So energy released. Then here per kilojoules. So that is the answer. So you can see that just very simple like that. And then Roman number 2 says instead the weight equation for aerobic respiration. So it is saying aerobic respiration, not anaerobic respiration. So weight equation for aerobic respiration, what should you have? You need to have glucose first. Okay? Let me just beat that one. You need to have glucose. So when glucose is available, what other item do you need? You need oxygen for aerobic respiration. So this one can be forward or a reverse reaction, forward or backward reaction. So when you react glucose with oxygen, what are we going to have? Here we are going to have carbon dioxide. So carbon, not like that. Okay, so let me just do this. So we are going to have carbon dioxide. Apart from carbon dioxide, the other thing which is going to be released is water and energy. We can say plus energy. So these are the 3 things which are going to be released during aerobic respiration. So the next questions now, let's try to look at the multiple choice questions. Okay, so we have the first one. Which substance is a greenhouse gas? So greenhouse gas, which one is going to be a green gas? The greenhouse gas here. So we have the herbicide, the insecticide, methane, and oxygen. So we are going to have methane. So methane is released from by the process of decaying of living organisms. Okay, organic matter. So that's the reason why you are going to find that those gas stoves that you use those gases that you use in gas stoves, they come from methane. So it's a greenhouse gas. Then biological washing powders contain enzymes. So which enzyme remove an oil stain from clothes? So you're going to find that the enzyme is going to be lipase or lipase. Amylase is not used. Amylase is the one which catalyzes carbohydrates. Lipase is the one which catalyzes lipids. And lipids, you know what to say, is a combination of fats and oils. Okay. And I think that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. And remember to subscribe and share this video if you find it useful.